Hi everybody, how is it going? This is Lance Tomashiro, and I'm really glad that you made it here today because what you're going to see is a first look at probably one of the most revolutionary WordPress plugins that you've ever seen. This has been in development for over 4 years now. It's something that we have put off releasing for a long time because, well, the technology just really wasn't there. So we're glad that you're all here. We've got a ton of excited people on this call. It looks like you guys can hear me really well. And so what I want you to do is make sure you close everything down for the next hour or so. Shut the door, get ready to take a lot of notes, because not only are we going to show you how you can put up your squeeze pages, your sales pages, your video pages, your opt-in pages, all of that with just a few clicks of a button. We're going to show you how you can get rid of all of the copywriting courses you've ever had, how you can get rid of all of your webmasters, how you can literally point, click, paste stuff into just a template and be able to have copy that converts, copy that's been tested, and copy that will make your conversions go up. So if you guys are ready, if you're ready to hear and see what Robert's got in store for you, go ahead and close everything down, type in ready in the question box, and we will bring out Mr. Robert Plank.
Awesome. So it looks like the responses are coming in. Thanks for that awesome introduction, Lance. And so yeah, I'm pretty excited to show you guys something that will make your life a heck of a lot easier. And the question box is blowing up. Actually, let me take a screenshot here. Probably shouldn't be doing that, but let's see if we can open up a little thing. We're having people in the question box already asking if they can buy what it is we're about to show today, so I'm pretty excited about that. Looks like I can't get a screenshot. There we go. All right. So here's what we got going on right now. Yeah. So we have people right here saying, just take me to the buy page. I just want it. So pretty cool. And we're going to show you this thing that pretty much, let me just bring it up for you in a second, give you a little taste. We are going to be showing you how you can make a web page like this just by clicking around, and not just the look of the web page, but also what's on the web page itself, because the thing that held me back for a long time, the thing that holds everyone else back, is that they don't know. You don't know what you don't know. You don't know what to put on your web page. You don't know if it looks good or not. You don't know putting it out if people will buy it or not. And so we want to shortcut that process for you by giving you a really easy and cool piece of software. And I'm going to set a little countdown happening right here, because as soon as this timer runs out, then we're going to be using it right now. But before that, we have to kind of crawl before we run. And I want to explain a couple things to you, and that's that, well, you have to get a few things in order with yourself and your business before you can even take advantage of the tools that you have before you. Because, I mean, most of us, if you think about it, we all have pretty much the same tools at our disposal. We have the same number of hours in the day. Anyone can go and sign up for whatever shopping cart, whatever autoresponder, whatever template. And so the difference is just with you. And so I found a couple of interesting little screenshots here. The first one is, you know, like when you go to Google and you type in part of a search phrase and they kind of guess what the rest of it will be. Well, people notice that when you type in "how can you" with a letter U instead of that word "you," you get a bunch of, I don't know, like, I guess bottom feeder stuff, right? Like, how do you get hepatitis? How do you lose weight fast? How do you get mono? But then when they look at when someone actually types in like a real sentence, then you get suggestions like, how do I make a difference? How do I affect society? So just a huge difference in just the way that certain people talk is the difference in the way certain people think. And then I found this other graphic that I want to share with you about the difference between successful and unsuccessful people. So, and it's kind of a lot of what you think. A lot of people who are successful, they do a little bit more thinking, just even like 10% more thinking about, well, am I moving ahead in the right direction? Am I doing, was what I'm doing helping others? Am I keeping their journal? If I mess up, if I fail, then is that okay? And am I taking responsibility for that, or am I just lying to myself? Is it like all this other stuff where, you know, there is a sense of entitlement, you know, talking smack about people, being angry, letting everything else control me? So huge difference, and this plays a huge part, probably more than you think, when it comes down to you being the owner of your own business, you being, the controller of your own destiny, you being your own marketer. Because, I mean, if you sit around all day and you don't get things done, then no one's going to swoop in and save you. It's all up to you. And if you just let the day go by, the year go by, and it ends up being the same place that you started, well, then it's your fault. But if you take a couple of extra steps and do the right thing and do things a little bit differently, then it's also your fault that you did great. Or maybe fault's not the right word, but it's your own doing that made you what you are. And so why am I kind of going off onto this path? Well, because I kind of had a breakthrough recently in that everything you do when it comes to your own business, when it comes to your online business, comes down to it's about half math and about half psychology. And what do I mean by that? Well, I mean that anything is set up on the internet, it only comes down to one of three things. All right, you put up a web page, you write a blog post, you submit a post for someone else, you put up a video. It only does one of three things. It builds your list, gets your traffic, or makes your sales. Gets sales of your offers, and this will never change. It doesn't matter what new software comes out, what new plugins, what new themes come out. These things will never change. Anything you do on the internet comes down to either your list, your traffic, or your offers. And so when it comes down to things like, well, making a product, that's your offers. When I'm trying to make a sales letter convert better, that's an offer. When I'm adding, Facebook friends or building a Facebook group, that's your list. When I'm getting more subscribers, that's your list. When I'm buying ads, that's traffic. But it really helps me personally because I know that when I first got started, there were all these things all over the place, all these shiny objects, all these opportunities. And as soon as I kind of just shut out most of the noise and just said, I'm just going to focus on these things, that helped. And then once I kind of separated it into a few components, then that helped as well. And so when I'm talking about math and psychology, well, a lot of what we do is really kind of goes against our own common sense. And what I mean by that is that many times when we put up a website, like a template like this, on first glance you think, well, wow, this kind of looks crappy, doesn't it? But the irony is that this converts better than anything else. And there's so many websites that we've put up where it looks great in 2004, but then in 2007 it looked like crap. It looked already 3 years old. And so certain things, even though it seems counterintuitive, even though sometimes I'll have sentences on a web page that are grammatically incorrect or have spelling issues, some of those make me more money by having that incorrect sentence or having that weird headline or that weird graphic on a web page. So one thing that Lance and I do a lot of is testing. And so if we can tell by putting like a Google Analytics on our web page, we can tell that if our web page converts at 2%, if we just have a number like that, then we know that if we get 100 clicks, 1,000 clicks, 10,000 clicks, how many sales we'll make, how much money we'll make. And so that helps us too, but it comes time to buy an ad, because when we go in and put 20% of our profits back into, retargeting ads, Facebook ads, media buys, things like that, and then we can see, well, if we put $10 into this, if it got us 1,000 clicks, and then it got us 2% conversion, then we can say, okay, well, we end up with 20 sales like that. And so it's kind of cool how that works out, where if we just know a couple of different numbers, then now things aren't as risky. Now things aren't as much of a shot in the dark. Now we're just making the numbers work. So the math part of it is a big part of it, but then it comes down to these two parts of what's called psychology, right? And so there's two parts of this where we have inner game and we have outer game. And so inner game pretty much means like, well, if I'm basically working alone all day, and you might Skype with people, you might Facebook with JV partners, you might email people, but at the end of the day, you're basically a alien, right? Because most people around you, they don't get what you do. Like I ran into one of my friends at like a Staples store last night, and he was someone I knew from college, and I didn't really go into too much detail about what I do, but when you tell someone that you work from home, when you work from the internet, the average person doesn't really get what it is that you do. Your family, they really don't get what it is you do, and maybe if you even try to explain them, they probably got bored or their eyes glazed over as soon as you started talking about WordPress plugins, landing pages, and opt-in forms, and email follow-up sequences. So we're basically in our own little world, but the good news is that we're all in our own little world together, you and I. So that's good. But just because in a lot of ways you have to solve your own problems, it's up to you to figure out how to, self-motivate yourself, know what makes you happy, know what keeps you productive, know what it takes to get things done fast and get things completed instead of just slowing yourself down and getting things perfect and just being productive. So there's the inner game part, and then there's the outer game, which means that, well, a lot of the things that you apply to yourself also apply to everyone else. So if you think about it, if you're basically what we call like your own demographic or your own customer, if you're someone who really enjoys like affiliate marketing, then if you put together your own web page, your own product, your own sales letter, instead of outsourcing that part, if you actually make that, then the things that will excite you will end up exciting everyone else. And so that becomes really, really interesting if you have basically like your finger on the beat of your customers and you know what excites them, you know what they want, then your sales letter, your web page, your landing page, your opt-in page almost writes itself. Now, if you have to put together or write some emails, you have to write, say, 10 emails for your latest product, you don't even have to work or think. You just kind of write, well, what would get me to buy this? What would excite me? And then there you go. So math and psychology, if you really think about it, that's all it takes when it comes to internet marketing. And then from that, it's just implementation, right? And what we see over and over again is that the average person, they just don't have anything set up, or they maybe set up a website once and they're done, or it took them too long. But I mean, getting set up is what it's all about. And Lance and I want you to have a website, all right? And the reason for that, and because, I mean, something you might hear every now and then is, well, those evil internet marketers, what they do is what they'll do is they'll give you a course and they'll teach you this part, this part, this part, this part, this part, but they'll leave the very last step not completed, and then they'll make you buy their next product. And I don't know, I guess a few people maybe do that, but not Lance and I. And the thing about Lance and I is that, well, we have all these courses about copywriting, about membership sites, about webinars, and so it's in our best interest for you to have a website. So we want to do everything possible for you to create your own website that's up and running, that's making you sales, that's making you consistent income, because that way, once you have that step completed, like none of this crap where the last step's left out, once you have this step completed, then now you can improve on what you already have. But it's a lot more fun to take something that's already making you some money, even if it's $100, $1,000, $10,000 a month, and then improve it, as opposed to starting from scratch and trying to like guess and check the whole way through. It's a lot more fun to improve on what you already have, because you can make these tiny little changes and make a lot more money. And so once again, another big example of this is I used to mess around with a lot of different web page designs. So if I can remember correctly, yeah, so sometimes I would pay someone to create an actual, this was called a mini site back in the day, right? And so I just, for some reason, I had this hang up, and I thought that every time I put out a product, I've got to pay for graphics, I got to pay for a mini site. I felt almost guilty if I didn't. And so I think this is 2005, this web page. In 2005, this web page looked awesome. This kicked ass. But you look at this in 2013 and beyond, you think, well, it doesn't look as good. And I don't know what it is exactly. I don't know if it's the blue background. I don't know if it's the graphic. I don't know if it's the drop cap. But something about this screams pre-2010. It looks like it's several years old. I can't really put my finger on it, but it looks several years old. But as opposed to the piece of paper, and I look at this, and this is something that could have existed in the year 2000, could have existed in 2010, could have existed in 2015, but I don't know. And so this is just good enough where I can just use this template for everything else. And it's just funny how in the moment, so many things look great. I used to have these web pages. I think I've changed it since then. This logo, when I first made it, I think in 2002, took up half the page. And it looked awesome. It was this humongous logo. And I realized that as soon as I kind of shortened it and made it a lot smaller, then my sales increased. So imagine that, how removing things, making things smaller and simpler actually makes you more money. So it's like, well, would you rather have a pretty site or a site that makes money? Well, you can answer that any way you want to, but I know what my answer is. And so also know what my answer is if I'm thinking about whether or not I should, buy this product or move in this direction or get this plugin. I see a lot of people kind of asking the wrong questions. And I might say, well, I've got this product, I've got this plugin. And people say things like, well, what are the upsells or what's the one-time offer or things like that. And they just invent all these questions to hold them back, and they just deprive themselves of not having a money-making website, and that's just kind of sad. And I mean, it's in everyone's best interest for you to set up a website and for your website to be finished and for your website to make money, because everybody wins. You make money, your customers make money, everything kind of grows as a result. And I mean, having a website that runs an autopilot, that gets automatic traffic, that builds a list, that presents offers is basically a license to print money, because you can be asleep and make a bunch of sales. You can have, I have some websites that only make about a couple of sales a month, and I've forgotten about them. I haven't touched them in years, but they make money just from sitting there. And then we have other sites that make 5, 10, 15 sales every single dang day. And so either way, if you make, and it doesn't even matter how much your time is worth. Let's just say, just to use some small numbers, if your time was worth $25 an hour, and you were basically on like a Sunday afternoon, a $25 sale rolled in. We know what that means? That means that that's an hour that you didn't have to work. That's an hour that you got paid for doing nothing, for not even being at home or on the computer or on your phone maybe. It just kind of rolled in and it just happened. So that's what I want for you. I hope that's what you want. So is it okay if I just show you how to make a autopilot web page? Is it okay if I show you how to do everything right now? Well, I hope it is, because your obstacles right now are that, well, you can't write a slick sales letter, you don't know what design or what to type in, you can't format it, you don't know how to put the graphics on there, or then even if you get past that point and you start overthinking it, right? Like, should I have a video or an audio, or should I build this into my membership site? Should I have 5 upsells? And there's just all these different confusing issues. And so you might have looked into some possible solutions, things like, well, maybe I'll do this thing called HTML, and I'll learn how to code a web page. Buy this big thick book and I'll learn FTP. And the thing is that Lance and I are getting away from using these old outdated technologies like FTP. We're getting away from using HTML, and I'll get to what we're doing instead. Another thing you might have tried is these different WordPress themes, because you thought, okay, well, there's this thing called WordPress. I don't have to edit web pages. I can just go ahead and point and click, and I can have a sales letter. But then a lot of these things are that's a whole nother learning curve, and it's like you gave up learning HTML for learning WordPress, but now you have to learn about child themes and frameworks and all this stuff just to make one single web page. And next thing you know, it's a month later, you're still farting around trying to make one web page. Or you get a themeware plugin that looks really great, but then you have to learn all this design stuff, like what's with all this like corner rounding, or I have to set all these different colors. It's really freaking confusing, and it just makes me want to cry, and makes me want to go back to just getting a plain piece of paper template, and then that way the words I say are the most important thing, instead of the focus being on the graphics, which don't really help as much as you think they do. Or you might have looked into this stuff called sales letter software. And basically, some of it's still floating around, but it's basically like Windows software that you download, and it says to fill in this box, type in testimonial number 1, type in the reason you created this product, type in testimonial number 2, and the problem with this fill in the blank kind of sales letter software is that, well, sometimes there's only room for like 3 testimonials. And if I have testimonial number 4, well, sorry, I guess you'll have to save that for next time. Or if you want to put this part before that, well, sorry, the way the software works is you fill in these boxes, and then it just spits out a web page. And once the web page is done, well, there's no way to go back. You're just kind of stuck with what they give you. So it's like you're conforming to their system. And once again, I don't know what it is, but just looking at it, I can tell that someone did a fill in the blank sales letter. I can tell that something just doesn't seem right. So we're at this point now in 2013 where you tried these things that don't work, and there are a lot of things that are obsolete that are going to go away, maybe not tomorrow, but are slowly going away. Things like editing HTML, editing code for web pages, using FTP and uploading in chmodding or chmodding, or however the heck you want to say that weird word, or tweaking CSS, or debugging JavaScript, because you know that's all fun. And even things like most desktop programs, like things like Microsoft Word, are slowly, I don't know if you've noticed it, but they're slowly being replaced by websites, by web apps. And if you can guess what they're replaced by, you get a prize. Well, they're being replaced by this thing called WordPress. And so the cool thing about WordPress is you can easily point and click, and in a couple of clicks, you have a website set up. Another couple of clicks, you can choose what design you want. Another couple of clicks, you can have whatever plugins you want. And the geeks, if you're a geek, you can still access the fancy parts, but if you don't even want to think about that or bother with that, you don't have to. And you just pretty much figure out, well, am I going to add a post, which is like basically a new like dated journal entry, or am I going to add a page, which is basically navigation? The cool thing about WordPress is that you post something new, and now you're instantly in minutes listed in Google, because they do this thing called pinging websites. You can pretty much you can give someone else full access to your site to like help out, or give someone access to just write content, things like that. There's undo, you can, what you see is what you get, all this other cool stuff. And so that's what we're going to be using today. I'm going to be showing you today how to use WordPress, which is what you normally see here, like a regular blog type of site, and instead turning it into a piece of paper, which converts better for a number of reasons. First of all, because there's nothing to click on other than the usual like legal pages, there's nowhere for people to go other than to just sign up or to buy, depending on what kind of web page you make. And then there's nothing else to distract people. There's no sidebar, there's no graphic, it's just a plain piece of paper that looks good in the year 2000, that's going to look good in the year 2025, and all you have to do is click around, hit the button, and now you have a web page online. So we have about a minute to go, but you know what? I'm going to be nice, and I'm going to skip ahead, and we're going to just do this a minute ahead of time. We're going to be using this thing called the paper template. And this is not a WordPress theme. This is a WordPress plugin that you can pretty much install on a WordPress blog and turn it into this. And what's really cool is that this web page we're on right now, papertemplate.com, which took many of you to today's training call, is running on WordPress. But you almost couldn't tell. I can tell because I'm logged in. I have this bar at the top. But if you were just heading to the site on your own, then check it out. It looks like a piece of paper. It doesn't look like WordPress at all. And if I look at if you're a geek, because we had some geeks looking at it, and you pretty much can't really tell that it's WordPress. It looks like a regular, simple HTML page, which is good. It's just a really simple web page for you. And so we're going to be using this thing right now called the paper template. And so let me just show you really quickly how this works. Is that we have a WordPress site, right? And so you can install WordPress just from your web host backend from your control panel, and there's nothing on here, right? It's the latest version. There's the usual stuff, like they give you a sample post, a sample page, and so basically when you add posts, it adds things to the front page, and when you add pages, these are navigation, like you might add a contact page or legal pages or things like that. And so if I said, okay, I want to use this web page to sell something, well, you just install our plugin. And so let me just show you what I mean. Is we go to the back end of our site. This is a site we set up called Membership Newbie. There's nothing on it. And we can just go to Plugins, Add New, and I can go Upload, and then search around for the plugin that I want. And the plugin that I want is this thing called the paper template, okay? And notice I'm not doing any editing files, any FTP, any of that kind of stuff. I'm just doing this thing in WordPress that says Plugins, Add New, and I'm going to install this thing called the paper template. All right, it's installed. I'll activate it, and now we have a blank WordPress, and we have one plugin on this site called the paper template. And I'm going to go into it, and I have to put in my information. And let me drag this back in here. Okay, so we're using this thing called the paper template. And so basically, this lets you set individual pages to act as as sales letter. So let me show you what I mean. Is I can say I want to make a new page on my site, right? I'm going to say, well, I'm going to call this a sales letter, and I will add a few things in here to sell something. All right? So this is a new page that we're going to add. If I click on publish, and then I go to the front page of my site, I can see that I didn't add any posts, but in the top here, there's the sample page that was already there, and now I have this thing called a sales letter. But you know, it still looks like a blog. I'm still at a place where someone can leave a comment. This doesn't really look really salesy. There's places people can click away. This isn't good for selling things. This is good for if I want to have a lot of content or give people a site where they can stay and click around. But in order to sell something, I want to just pretty much lock this down. So all we have to do is click on Edit Page, and if we scroll down, there's this area we've added for you for the paper template. And we could just say, well, do you want to display this page normally, or do you want to use the paper template? And so if we just update that, click on Update, and I've done nothing else. I've just taken a page in my WordPress site, I've changed it to use the paper template, and if I view this page again, then check it out. Now the navigation's gone, everything's gone on this page, and now it's a piece of paper. Now, there's not too much on it, so I'd have to, add a few more things, but I can say, here's my headline, my subheadline, and then because in WordPress you can just point and click, I can say, well, I want the headline to be what's called a heading 1, and I want the subheadline to be what's called a heading 2, and then update that. And then if we view the page again, then check it out. Now it's all formatted correctly, and I can just go back and add as much stuff as I want. I can go and say, bullet points, bullet points, bullet points. I can say, I'm going to add more things here. I can add a testimonial here. And because I want my testimonial to kind of be in its own little box, I can just select it and go to this little quote thing. Since a testimonial, I'm quoting what someone else said. Click on that, update it, and now when I view the page, then now, it's all formatted the way that I want it. And what's cool about this is that I didn't have to edit anything. I just use this point and click thing. Some people in the question box are saying, I just want the link to buy it now. Very exciting. There goes my tech hurdles. Outstanding. I love you guys. So it's all pretty easy. And so that's just to make a page. But here's a problem though, is that when you go to your main area of your website, well, you're on a blog, and suddenly you click on this sales letter, and well, shoot, now I'm somewhere else maybe I didn't want to be. And so there's a few things that we can do about this. So what I want to do here is I just want to go and edit this page, and I can scroll down, and we can let you do a couple of things. First of all, we can say that this page will not have a link from your blog, and so you can uncheck this and save your settings here. And when we go to our website, we can see that that page was not linked to, right? Your blog acts normally, but if you wanted to go to to that one page, you could give someone a link to it. So if I go to this sales letter, here's this page. So this still exists on our blog, but we just don't link to it. And now if you wanted this to take over, if you wanted this to be your front page of your blog, even easier, edit the page, scroll down, make this the front page of your entire site, save changes, view the page, and check it out. Now if we just go to membership newbie, now all it shows is our sales letter. So pretty cool, and you can add as many of these pages as you want. You can add as many sales letters, as many opt-in pages, as many download pages, and heck, let's just set up a whole business from scratch right now if that's okay. So what I want to do is, let me just go back to my dashboard, and let me save this one setting so that it makes my post look pretty. So right now I have, what do I have? Well, I have my sample page. I'll get rid of that. I've got my sales letter, which is the front page of my site, and then they've given me, I have all these legal pages that were automatically added to this website. So when I go to my front page, well, I can have all these things that Google likes. Google likes for you to have a privacy policy, and they will reward you with a higher ranking, more traffic by having this. by having all these different little things. So we have that one page, and let's say that we were I can bring my pages. Let's say that we were selling something from this web page, and then what we wanted to do is, well, if you think about it, how does someone get from one web page to another? Well, you have your sales web page, and then you have a download page, and we'll be making that in a second. But for someone to get from one page to another is you can either link to it directly, which means they click on something and they get there, or you can put a stop to it. You can put something in between there, which in our case means that, well, PayPal. If we use PayPal, the way it works here is instead of linking right to the download page, we link to PayPal, and then PayPal says, well, if they didn't pay, then don't send them anywhere. If they did pay, send them over to the download page. So the only people who end up on this download page are the ones who actually paid. So it's really easy to set up something like this. All we have to do is just go to New Page, and then call this our download page, and then we can say here is my download link, and then put the link right there. And didn't I say at the beginning that FTP is going out of style, going out of date? Because in WordPress, you can just click a button, click on Add Media, and we can just upload a file right from our computer. So we can go select files, and I don't even know if I have anything to upload. Let me just let me just say this was my download link. I can click on that and insert in a page, and boom, now this thing that I've just uploaded is now on my download page. So pretty cool right there. And then if I don't want this link to be easily found, I can just click on this and make it download 555 XYZ. And now in order for someone to get here, they would have to go to membership newbie/xyz, which they couldn't find by guessing. They could only find this if I created a PayPal button. And so I just would go into PayPal, and they have a point and click process for you to make a button, and you say after they check out, I want to charge this price, and they end up on membership newbie download 555XYZ, and then that's all done. I go here and I say I want the download page to be a paper template, and definitely don't include this in our navigation, and publish that. And so what will happen is, well, I can have my web page that's selling on membership newbie, and then I could have a button at the bottom that takes people to, what did we say it was, download 555 XYZ, right? And then they get their download link. So what I can do really easily is click edit the page, and then I can go over to my PayPal and I can create that special button, and they'll give me a link that says PayPal / a bunch of other stuff, and I can just say in here, call to action, what URL do you want to send people to when they click the order button? So they can go to paypal.com, they can pay, they can check out, and they end up on that download page. So just by adding in the special PayPal button that they give me, I go back to this page, and then heck yeah, now there's a button here they can click on, they can go to PayPal, they can pay, and then once they're done, then they end up on download 555XYZ. They can click the button to download. And what do I usually do when after someone buys from me? Well, I want to get them on a list. Remember how we said there's list, traffic, and offers? Traffic is what got them to this front page in the first place. You post on Facebook, you have Facebook ads, solo ads, you have your email list, all that cool stuff. Traffic gets them here. Your offer is the thing you're selling. They go and they buy, but after they buy, well, we want to build our business. We want them to get on a list for updates. So how the heck do we do that? I'm glad you asked. Click on edit page, and what I'll do is I go to we always show you how to use this service called Aweber, AWEBER, and this is a service that will allow you to send out emails. And so pretty much the way it works is you set up this form, and then you say, well, I want to put this on a web page. I want to publish this. And then what they do is they pretty much give you this copy and paste stuff. And so just like we said, you have your sales letter over here, you have your download page over here, and you can put your opt-in form not just on your sales letter but on your download page. So we're going to put this opt-in form for people to sign up to your email list on your download page. So let me show you how to do that. Well, we just grab this, right, and they have you select it, right click and copy. You edited your download page, and at the bottom here, well, before we put in a PayPal link in here, we just go and put in our opt-in form, our sign-up form for our list. Click on Update. Once that's done, click on View Page, and check it out. Now we have our download link, and people can sign up to your list for updates. So, I mean, if you ever thought that, using things like WordPress to build a list, to make sales was difficult, well, it probably was back then, but now we've made it point and click simple for you, and all you have to do is click around, and it's pretty much done. So what I want to show you right now today is we're using this thing called WordPress, right? And so I have a question for you, and it's, what do all these sites have in common? I'm talking about sites like Amazon, eBay, Craigslist, Facebook, Google, YouTube. Well, they don't all use WordPress. Some of them do, but what they have in common is they're all simple, they're all clean. I mean, the focus is on what's on the web page and not the design of the web page itself. So I open up Amazon, eBay, Facebook, Craigslist is my favorite to show for things like this. But I mean, eBay, well, they have a little logo, but the focus is on what's on the site. Amazon, well, they have a little tiny logo at the top. The focus is on what's on the site. Facebook, they have a little tiny logo. The focus is on what your friends are saying. Craigslist, the focus is on what's there to click on. So all these sites, they are very clean and very simple, and the reason is because they make more money by doing that. So all these sites, well, chances are you've probably bought something from them this month, if not this week, if not today, if not an hour ago or during this call even, and they're all ugly websites. And the reason is, I've noticed this as well, is that the more things that you remove from a web page, the less things there are to look at, to be distracted by, to click on, the better it converts. Imagine that. And so what you need, instead of this fancy site with all these huge giant graphics that takes forever to load and looks great and distracts people, is what's called a good enough sales letter that people will end up buying from. And so I think I have, last time I checked about a year ago, I had about 1,003 pages of sales letters on the internet. There's more now, but I've written enough, and Lance has written some of them, and Lance and I have created pitch webinars and videos to kind of understand what you need to have on a web page. And luckily for you, it's very simple. And usually if your site's not selling, chances are either you just didn't say things the right way or they're in the wrong order. And so we call this Lance copywriting. And this is the way that Lance explains to people how to make a web page that sells. And here's all you need is, first of all, whatever it is you're selling, if I'm selling you a backup plugin or WordPress, I need to explain to you first, why is it important? And then introduce what exactly I'm selling. What is it? A backup plugin. How is it delivered? So is it like in this case, it's a plugin in a membership site. But if you're selling like a course on kickboxing, well, then you say, well, it's got these number of videos. This is a report. This is exactly what you're getting. And then here are the pieces of it. So here's like, if you take on module 2, module 3, here are the results. Here's all the 7 modules I have. Here's the value of each module. Here's the total price of the total value of what it is. And then finally, with all that stuff you get, what's the price I pay and why I should get it right now. So if you think about it, any web page that really does a good job of selling answers these 5 questions. And now you might see a web page that has nothing on it except for a video, or might have a web page that has just a couple of graphics, or a web page that's long and long and long. But if the web page sells, it answers all these things and it answers them in this order. And so, I don't know, in the past, I mean, I've paid tens of thousands of dollars for one single sales letter. In the past, I've spent weeks just, humming and hawing over, should I have this sentence or this word? And if I had just started off with just knowing that all I had to do was answer these 5 questions and it was a good enough web page, then I would have saved myself so much time. And that's why we have this thing called the paper template. It's an all-in-one plugin that's 4 years in the making. And basically, 4 years ago, I released the second WordPress sales letter plugin ever created. All right, one guy beat us to it, but his wasn't very good. And so what we did is we created a plugin for WordPress where not only did it make a WordPress blog look like a piece of paper, but it also gave you plug and play, drag and drop headlines. The only problem with WordPress back then is I couldn't do all the things I wanted to do, and that's why we have this new piece of software where you can make as many download pages as you want, as many sales letters as you want. If you wanted to make a web page like this that just played a video, you have a video page. If you want to make a web page like this that has a webinar opt-in kind of form, well, that's easy too. I can just go and edit the page, and I can just take a go-to webinar link, right? Put that in as my call to action, and when I look at the page that that makes, then check it out. Now there's a place to enter in a first name and email address, click a button, and you're now registered for an upcoming webinar. So now I can do all the cool stuff that I've always wanted to do, and now this new updated plugin doesn't have to take over your entire blog. You can go to any one of your web pages and you can say, I want this to be a paper template type of site, or I want this to just be a normal web page. So I can click update, I can view my page, and now this page is a normal part of my blog, of my site. I can go back in, and I can turn it back on, turn on the paper template, and I can go back, and now the web page is back the way I want it to. If you were putting in a video, because sometimes we have like big, long videos, and if I want to have what's called a bare bones web page, I can just make another change here, click update, view the page, and now it's a page where it still has my formatting, but I can, I can have a lot of room to breathe. I can put a big giant video right here, and that's what we're going to do with all our videos in the future. And that's what I've been doing for about a year, is having these big, almost blank web pages just for video replay. So lots of really cool stuff where you can just take a piece of your blog or apply this to every single page in your blog and have a direct response kind of sales site. So our good friend Willie Crawford says that he fell in love with this. He's going to be doing most of his web pages this way from now on. We have someone who was curious and trying to see how it all works, because they were looking at our web page and said, well, what the heck is this? It looks kind of like you point and click this, but it doesn't end up looking like WordPress. And so the reason why so many times you go to a web page and it looks like WordPress is because people try to use WordPress as an all-in-one kind of site. So my question is, when someone's logged out of your site, where should they be? When someone's logged into your site, where should they be? And here's the answer, is that if you have basically a backend, a membership site, that's its own WordPress kind of installation, right? So we have paper template /members, papertemplate.com/members. That's just our membership site, right? That's just one site to go to. That's just one site to log in at. But when we have our sales letter, that's at our .com name, but that's just the sales letter, and that's it. Okay, and so that was a big help for me, is by kind of drawing the line there. And this is one WordPress site, just the membership site. This is where after people buy, they have a place where they can log in. But then the front end for this is its own WordPress site. And so now we have one WordPress site where we add all of our sales letters, our video replay pages, our download pages, our opt-in pages. And then if you want to have a big giant site somewhere else, that's a totally separate site. And so let me just kind of show you like how easy some of this stuff is, because what I like to do sometimes is do this thing called buying resale rights. And I think I have let's see, let me log in here. So every now and then I'll buy something from this site where I can just grab a PDF, grab a video that someone else has made. And so this is something I got a few minutes ago, is this report, this thing called private label rights about membership sites. And I'm going to click on this, and I'm basically downloading a PDF report and some graphics and things like that. So I'm pretty much getting a business in a box from this person for about $5.94. And so the biggest hurdle we see with people is that they do these things where they might write a report, they might pay for someone to make videos for them, or they might find a piece of software on a site where they've bought the resale rights. And what happens? Well, it gets stashed away, gets stored away into that special little folder where it's nice and tucked in and safe that you'll never get to, never use to make money. That's kind of sad. So what we want you to do instead is get these kinds of things set up online as fast as humanly possible. So what do? Well, I've downloaded this zip file, and let me just kind of see what we have inside of this zip file. They've given us a bunch of little things, but in my license, they said that I can do this and I can't do with this. They said I can give this away. So cool. So I've just bought something where I could sell it, or I could use this to build a list, build my business. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a list. So they've given me this report, this PDF report right here. And so this is kind of cool. And so what I can do is I'll just upload this as is, right? So what I can do is go back to my membership newbie page, and you know what? I'll just leave these pages that are already here. Just keep it simple. And so this this report is called 20-minute memberships. So I need to do two things. I need to make a download page and an opt-in page. So I'm just going to go to Pages, Add New, and I'll just call this 20-minute memberships download page, and I'm going to add the download to this, right? So you can click on this Add Media, Upload Files, and I can just grab, where is this? Wherever the heck I stored it, report, here's my PDF file, and there we go. Now it's uploaded. I will link to, there we go, media file. Insert into page, and now on this page I have nothing else but a link to this PDF file. So I can go here, make this a paper template, and if I had if I wanted to add it to a list, I could just put that into the call to action area. But let's just see what we have here. So if I publish and view this page, then here we go. Now I have this link to this file, and they can sign up for updates. So let me just go here and say, thanks for your purchase. Click here to download. Thanks so much. Make this a heading 1. Whoops, did that work? Heading 1. Awesome. And make that like a heading 2. I could format this any which way that I want. Okay, so I viewed the page again. Then here we go. They can click on this PDF and get their download. So pretty easy, pretty point and click that way. But now I need to give people a reason to opt in, right? A place to land, a place to end up where I can say, well, here's this thing I want you to give me your name and email address, and in return, I will give you this report. What do? We go to New Page, and then I'll call this 20-minute memberships opt-in page. So now we're at the point where I'm thinking, well, I'm like a lot of people where I don't know what to write here. I don't know what to put here, right? And so we can do a couple of things where we can look back at this thing we had called, remember Lance copywriting? Why is it important? What is it? How is it delivered? What am I going to get? And then think, okay, well, I could answer those questions. Or is it okay if I just write your opt-in page for you? Well, up here there's these different menus. You might have you've never seen these in WordPress because these were added by the paper template. I've already made you an opt-in page. So you can click on that, and it fills in a whole opt-in page for you right here. And all you have to do is figure out, just change the headline, change the bullet points. So I can say, I can put in for a headline whatever I need to say about this membership site. Now, what the heck do I say for my headline? Well, I'm glad you asked. There's other menus here. There's this place right here where there are about 60 headlines for you to choose from. Basically, headline templates. And so what we can do here is we can say things like, well, here we go. Find out the big mistake that costs me over $5,000 with membership sites, and how you can avoid this right out of the gate. So cool, instant headline made right there. If I want to make another headline, I can go and I can choose one from down here, and I can say something like, why this occurs in this way. So why most people can't create a membership site at all, and how I'll show you how to make one in the next few minutes. And if I had more time, I'd probably make this make these uppercase and things like that. But that's a good start for a headline, right? And then the thing about having an opt-in page, an email sign-up page, is all you really need is some headlines and some bullet points. So let's just fill in some bullet points. But now you're thinking, well, great, now I got to write bullet points. No problem. Over at the top, we've listed, and I think this is like about 50 bullet points. I don't know the exact amount, but there's lots and lots of bullet points right here. And so we can say things like, well, let me just grab a random one. Whoops, we can click on that. Oh, it's not working right now, but it'll fill in. Let's see, is that, yeah, that one's working. Okay, cool. So that's headline. These bullet points will fill in different things like, are you blank? Test yourself to do this or gain that. Can you improve your membership site with one little tweak? Have you ever wished you could have your membership site online by dinner time tonight? The number one rule you must observe in order to have your membership site online, so you can choose which bullet point you want. So simple adjustments to your site that will double or triple your conversion and retention. There's all other bullet points like the best membership site to get high-ticket buyers. So you can just fill these things in and point and click around, and now you have an opt-in page done in just a few minutes. And I can say, I want to, you know what, I don't want to make this the front page. I want to have multiple opt-in pages. So let me go here and let me see up at the top. I want to make this membership newbie /free. So I want to say OK. I'll publish that site. And so now when someone goes to membership, whoops, I forgot to make it a paper template. So let me scroll down, make this a paper template. So I've got membership newbie /free. I've got my email sign up page where, I've labeled it for myself. I've got my headline, my bullet points. Let me put in the title for this. I want to say, claim your free membership site report. So I've made all these customizations, and I can save this page, view it, and check it out. Now, in the title, it says claim your free membership site report. I've got my headline, my subheadline, I have bullet points, my opt-in form, and it was all done just from this simple point and click process. And so we have all kinds of things to save you time with your with setting up your opt-in page, with setting up your sales letter. So let me show you one last really cool thing here, is that if I at some point found or made a product, maybe I'll have my membership newbie sales letter. And it's okay for me to call this page anything I want, because for a couple reasons. First of all, I can change what address people type in to get to this page, and I can change what title they actually see on the page. So I can say membership newbie, discover how to do everything you want, discover how to make money with your online membership site. So now we want to make a sales letter. Well, I'm glad you asked, because we can go pre-written sales page, and then it fills in all this stuff, right? So it fills in a headline, and we've already got a pretty good one here for you, where you can just say, well, who else wants to get these three things and use it to get these three outcomes without this common thing that you normally do, right? So you might want to say, who else wants to set up a membership site, get paying members, and let's see, earn passive recurring income, and then use it to retire early, quit your job, or just relax without all the usual technical hurdle. Or yeah, I keep seeing that word in the question mark, so I keep saying that word out loud. So I mean, in the past, if you're always having writer's block or you were stuck about what the heck to put on a web page, well, you just use our little menu system here, and now you can do any that you want. And you see that we've already filled in things you should answer. So all you have to do is just answer these questions. Why is it important? What are the alternatives? What's your solution? This is all based on Lance copywriting. We have different modules right here, and you can explain all that. You have the parts of your offer. You can change what the dollar value of all that is, and then reveal what the price is. And we've given you a guarantee certificate. We've given you a guarantee seal. We've given you an order area. So all you have to do is say, I want this to be the paper template. I want to link this to my special PayPal button, and sure, I'll make this the front page of my site. All right, so just clicking around, and I can click on to publish this, and then view the front page of membershipnewbie.com and check it out. I have my headline, subheadline, all my cool stuff, all my modules explained, all these buttons that will drop me down to the bottom, all these different things, my different, the parts of my offer, how it's totaled up, and you just had to click a couple of buttons and this was all set up for you. And unlike a lot of other sales letter software, like we talked about, like those Windows programs, well, once this is set up, then you can change anything you want. You want to change one sentence, rearrange things, you can, because it's WordPress, which means it's simple, it's easy, but it's also very powerful. You can do pretty much anything you want with it. So we've given you a cool little area here where you can see like basically a bird's eye view of all the pages of your web page, and are they paper templates, are they normal, are they in the navigation or not. You can fill in different things, like if you want to link to your members area, help desk, affiliate program. If you want to be geeky and customize stuff, you can. If not, then leave it alone. But what's really interesting is that we have these different things you can fill in here, and the more that you fill in, the more precise your legal pages end up being. So remember we talked about earlier on that we give you these pre-written legal pages, right? And so this way, if someone's looking into, well, should I buy from you, or Google saying, should I rank you? Well, it'll list specifically stuff about you and your business that all legitimate online businesses have. So I think that's pretty amazing personally, but it's all because of this thing called the paper template. And I mean, this just didn't exist. It just didn't exist for you to have the ability to, for example, create a whole business in a few minutes. So, for example, buy resale rights, point and click your download page, upload your download file, and now that's done. Make a sales letter, maybe upload a logo or something. So, for example, if I wanted to put my logo on a sales letter, I can just edit that page, and here we go. I can just say add media, upload files, and I think in my other screen I have a logo somewhere else. Let's see, logo dot. There we go. So I can just click and hold down and drag this file into here, and whatever the heck this logo was for, insert into page, and boom, now I have a logo for my web page. I can update and view that, and check it out. Now I have a logo, a piece of paper. No one's the wiser about it being WordPress except for you, is that you just pointed and clicked, didn't have to know FTP, CSS, it was just done. So you made this whole sales letter, you just customized your headline, there's no more starting from scratch, you just had it finished. So a couple of ideas for you here is, what if you were able to make 30 opt-in pages? And I mean, very simple, you just, go page, add new, make a new page for your opt-in page. And so what if every different one of these pages was a little bit different? So what if you had one of your, maybe we had this membership course and we made an opt-in page about membership sites for realtors. We had one opt-in page about membership sites for contractors, one opt-in page about membership sites for coaches. So we can make all these different keyword optimized pages that all lead into your business. What if you just used this plugin to create two different sales letters for two different audiences? You made one sales letter like for Americans, one sales letter for overseas, one sales letter for young people, one sales letter for old people, two different basically storefronts, but it all leads to your same exact product. What if you were able to basically run a whole launch using this? Because what you can do is have your pages right here, and you can pretty much say, well, okay, before my product is ready, I want people to go to when they go to the front page, they're on my opt-in page. So I want to say, okay, the front page is my opt-in page. So now when someone goes to membership newbie, they end up on just this, my opt-in page. But now that the product is ready, what I can do is go back to the paper template. I can go to my sales letter right here, and I can say, instead of going to membership newbie/sales, I can just check this one box, make this the front page, save those changes, and now when someone goes to membershipnewbie.com, now they can go and they can buy. So you have total bird's eye view access of your whole site just from pointing and clicking. Okay? And like I said at the beginning of this call, we made this because we used it, and I want you to use it because all I want is for you to have an easier life and for you to get your site online quickly, because time's running out. Because if you think about it, 1990, the year 1990 was 20 years ago. Except if you really think about it, well, 3 years ago, it was 20 years ago. So now time's really gone by. Remember when Justin Bieber was a kid, like a young teenager? Well, now he's 19. Remember that movie, The Sixth Sense, with Bruce Willis and the kid who saw dead people? Well, that kid is now 24 years old. The internet itself is now 22 years old. And so, things are changing. And so, I mean, even sites like YouTube, don't have very much on them. And so this is the way that things are headed, and you can either catch up or get left behind. So with a paper template, you get these point and click headlines, bullet points. You can make a whole site without FTP, without HTML. If you want to just add one page on your site like this, you can, or make every page on your site like this. It's up to you. There's built-in legal pages. You can create as many sales headers or opt-in pages as you want and edit it from anywhere because it's WordPress. You can add other users and give someone part access and let someone edit your pages, but not let them take over your whole blog. Let someone submit content for your opt-in pages or your sites, but not give them the whole keys to the castle. You can switch your navigation around like you saw, and pretty much have just the ability to do anything. And so lots of people love this. Lots of people said that they can't help to get it. They already used the old version, and this new version that's on WordPress is about 1,000 times better. Now, if you really, really want to edit HTML code, you can still use this template for that, but we've made it where if you just want it simple, you can use WordPress, install this plugin, edit stuff around, and you're totally done. And this is called the Paper Template 2.0, which you can get at papertemplate.com. So you can install as a WordPress plugin, makes opt-in pages, sales letters, download pages, webinar opt-in pages, video replay pages, make as many pages as you want on the same blog. You can make pre-written sales letters on opt-in pages, point and click headlines. It has legal forms. Install it on as many sites as you own for 365 days of updates and support for just $4.97. So if you go to papertemplate.com, it's papertemplate.com. This is made by the paper template, and it sells the paper template as well. So that's at papertemplate.com, and it's just $4.97 to basically never have to hire a copywriter ever or ever again. You point and click and it's done. There are 60 proven headlines in different categories depending on if you want to ask a question, based it off of a fact or news, based it off of numbers. I have those all grouped together for you. There are 70 different bullet points, depending on if you want to ask a how question, make a why statement, let them visualize something. And so the idea here is not to have a fill in the blank, but to start with a page and then you make the changes. And that's way better because if you're the one who actually says what you mean and you just use our plugin to make it look good and seem good, then it's like you're speaking from the heart basically, and you're the person who understands the best what it is you're selling. You have a membership site, you have a report, you made it, you know why you made it, you know how it's going to help people. That beats the heck out of paying someone $10,000 just kind of use some fancy phrases. We'll give you the fancy phrases, now you make it your own. So how much would a copywriter cost you? And especially if they charged you like thousands of dollars and took a cut, how much would they charge you to make changes? Or does that only include 3 changes and then you're stuck with what they've given you? We've already had people asking for the ability to buy even before this was for sale. This was from a couple of days ago. And so just because you're on the call today, it's just $3.97 because this is not just a business in a box. It's several instant businesses in a box. If you want to just make a new opt-in page, you want to put out a new product, you want to sell some new report, you want to buy resale rights, click a button, and now the tough part's done. Now it's being sold for you. What if you use this to set up 10 new websites per day? Pretty easy, just click 10 different times. Or if you want to just access and improve your sales letter from anywhere in the world, like our friend Emtano, who's in Africa, who wanted to buy this, and he couldn't buy it because he's in Africa, but as soon as he's back, then he's getting that paper template WP plugin. I'm all on that, man. So we're going to give you the Emtano in Africa discount. It's just $2.97 to get a professionally written sales letter. I mean, you'd pay that just for a crappy sales letter, but now you can pay this and make as many sales letters as you want, and they're great because you customize them. You can make high converting opt-in forms. There's pre-made legal forms, video replay pages, download pages, webinar registration pages. If it can fit into a piece of paper, then you can make it, and it's just $197. Because that's what there's a few other like themes and plugins that kind of do similar things to this, and that's what they charge to do all these things. But I use the term competition in quotes not to insult them, because we're kind of not, it's kind of apples and oranges. We're not really selling the same thing as them, because theirs only do things like sales letters. And what I also discovered is that, I've even seen in the question box people say like, what about this alternative or this plugin? I've looked into most of these and end up on a webpage that says you can't buy right now. I don't know why. I don't know if you discovered this, but when I look around at many of the competitors, I can't even buy what they're selling. So I don't know what that says about how much they use it or how proud they are of it. So I want to make this a no-brainer for you. It's just $97 to use the paper template on as many sites as you personally own. So you can use it with your existing blog. Just click the button, and now that page is wrapped in paper. Now it's paper templatized. You can use this just for the point-and-click headlines. So, I mean, if you already have something that's working, I don't want to intrude on that, but you can still use do I still have it open? You can still like edit a page, and you can still, choose whatever headline you want. And you can still say, well, I want to still use a design I already have, but then use these headlines and bullet points for my own purposes. Keep in mind that you can install and create an unlimited number of sales letters and opt-in pages on the same blog. If you want to have 100 sales letters and 200 opt-in pages, you can. You just use our plugin, and it all runs on the same blog. And if you want to use it on as many sites as you want, my question is just how many sites do you want to use it on? There you go. So it's just $97 for unlimited sites. And that's not a typo. The price really is that low. Now, what's it worth to you to get your site finally online today, or set up a new site that you've been procrastinating or putting off? What if you use this to bring an old, outdated site back to life, and now we're selling again? Or what if you do what I do sometimes, where I buy resale rights, put it online in a few minutes for an instant income stream, so it doesn't get filed away to that special folder where you forget about it forever? So how about this? I have a really, really special surprise for you, and that's that the price today, your price today, right now, is not $97. Okay? Now it's not even $67. And keep in mind, they can use it on just one page of your blog, or your whole blog, or half the pages of your blog, or as many blogs as you want. It's not $67. It's not even $47 to set up opt-in pages, build your lists faster. It's not even $37 to get this proven and tested plugin at papertemplate.com. It's not even $27 to get the same WordPress plugin that we used to make that piece of paper, sales letter, opt-in page, video replay page. It's not even $17, and it comes with legal pages. It's just $7. And I mean, this is ridiculous. I'm seeing people who, in the question box, they're freaking out. Yahoo, this price is insane. I just bought. What an emotional ride this has been. OMG, I've never seen the question box blow up like this. So I want you to get this before you come to our senses and increase the price. Go to papertemplate.com right now. That's PAPERTEMPLATE. I just got my copy before you even gave the final price. I'm downloading now. Shock therapy is next. Pretty darn cheap. Insane. Don't you need some income? So papertemplate.com. It's just $7 freaking. You probably have that like in your couch cushions in your back pocket. To use this on as many sites as you personally own, go to papertemplate.com. You click the button, you get in the membership site, we'll give you the plugin, and use it on as many WordPress sites as you have, including the ones you haven't even made yet. You can try this out for 30 days and get your money back if you don't like it. Use this along with any other WordPress theme, any other WordPress plugin. So what if you were to use this with some special SEO or some special social media pop-up plugin, split testing plugin, or e-commerce plugin? It all works together because it installs as a plugin on top of WordPress at www.papertemplate.com. So what there is to do right now is go to www.papertemplate.com. I'll go with you right now. papertemplate.com. That's papertemplate.com to get this plugin that will get it all online fast, increase conversions, and manage it all in one place. We've given you all the details, all about the paper template, all the features it does that you've already seen. You download now, just $7 freaking. I mean, it's crazy. So go to papertemplate.com. I guess I'm evil, but click the pay button and send $7 to Double Agent Marketing LLC and log into the site in the next few minutes. I mean, how many times am I going to say it? Papertemplate.com. For $7, we give you point-and-click headlines, legal pages, opt-in pages, sales letters, and it all runs on top of WordPress, and it saves you so much time, saves you so much aggravation. Your site's done. Now you can get back to what really matters in life. Take time off, make more money, sell more products, make more products, flip sites, anything you want. Now it's all done because you used papertemplate.com. So we're closing down the webinar in about 20 seconds. So make sure to have this address before we close it up because we don't want you to miss out. It's already in the chat box. It's papertemplate.com, papertemplate. Everyone has wanted something like this at some point. It's true, including us. So you need to go ahead and claim it. There's nothing else to do but go to papertemplate.com. My name is Robert Plank. Go ahead and use it, install it, let me know where you're using it. I can't wait to see your brand new opt-in pages and sales letters. That's papertemplate.com. My name is Robert Plank, and thank you and goodbye.